Okay, the next play that we're going to talk about is Othello. Othello is a black general in the Venetian army and has secretly married a beautiful white woman, the daughter of the prominent senator Brabantio. So let's look at Othello and look at some of the characters. So first we have Othello, which of course is the main character in this. Iago, which is the antagonist, the villain, the bad person, the one that's out to destroy Othello. Desdemona, which is the wife of Othello. Cassio, pretty much I call him, he's not necessarily the victim in this, but to me, he basically is the closest person to the victim that's in this play. Brabantio is Desdemona's father. Roderigo, he's totally in love with Desdemona. Emilia is the wife of Iago. So let's look at what happens. Okay, first, there is a storm, and Othello is sent off to war. This is when Desdemona's father sends Othello off to war. Othello comes back, though he comes back victorious. Okay. I would say one of the main characters in this one is definitely Iago, which is the antagonist. And these are the plans. What we're going to do is go over the different plans of Iago in order to destroy Othello and why he wanted to destroy Othello. So Iago already is upset that Cassio is promoted instead of him. He thinks also that Cassio has slept with his wife. So Iago is the one that leaks out that Othello and Desdemona has secretly married. Father does not like this, but of course this is done. Um, so that is his first plan. Okay, in order to bring down Othello, but it doesn't work. Othello is sent off to war, and instead of being killed, he comes back victorious. When he comes back victorious, they have a celebration for Othello, the victory celebration, and also the celebration for his marriage. So now Iago goes to plan two. Plan two is Iago organizes a street fight with Roderigo and Cassio, and Cassio is dismissed from his duties. Desdemona pleads with Othello to get Cassio back his position. Okay. So, of course, plan one did not work. So now we're going to plan two. The reason why he's able to use Roderigo is actually in love with Desdemona. And Iago tells Roderigo if he can get Othello out of the way, then Desdemona will literally, she will be with him. Okay. Of course, this doesn't work. So now Iago starts putting negative words into Othello's mind. He ends up, I'm presenting negative information. And one of the things he says is that Cassio and Desdemona were lovers, and that is why she wants Cassio to have his job back. Okay. At first, Othello does not believe what Iago is saying, and so now he wants. So in order for Iago to go continue with his plan, he's going to need proof. So now we're going to pause for a second, and we're going to look at plan three of Iago. Okay, so now let's continue. Excuse me, let's continue. Okay. So, of course, like I said, Iago wanted to basically say or portray that Cassio and Desdemona was having an affair when Othello was at war. Othello does not believe this. He wants to have some proof in order to believe Iago. So now we go to plan three. And plan three is what I call the basically the celebration. During the celebration, remember they had the celebration of the marriage of Desdemona and Othello and also his victory at war. Desdemona has a handkerchief that was given to her by Othello, and she drops that handkerchief. Okay. Why is this handkerchief very important? Well, the reason why this handkerchief is very important is because it was actually a wedding gift given to her by Othello. Now, the problem is when she drops the handkerchief, Iago's wife picks up the handkerchief. So now Iago has, because his wife gave um, him the handkerchief, now Iago has something tangible that he can use as proof to conspire with his lie. Okay? So what Iago does is the handkerchief ends up being implanted into Cassio's room. And Iago also makes sure that Cassio, I'm sorry, that Othello sees Cassio with this particular handkerchief. Now, there's a lot more that goes with the handkerchief. As a matter of fact, a um, a duplicate of the handkerchief is made, but we're not going to get into all of that. I just want you to basically know some of the ideas around the handkerchief. And one of the main ideas is that Othello sees Cassio with the handkerchief, which is also a turning point in the play. Okay. Iago, like I said, he's continuing to put all these negative images into Othello's mind. When Othello sees this, Othello confronts Desdemona about where is the handkerchief. Well, instead of Desdemona saying, "Well, I do not know where I put the handkerchief," instead she lies and says it's somewhere in the house. And when she says it's somewhere in the house, that infuriates him even more. And it also backs up the lie that Iago is spreading. Okay, so why is this handkerchief so important? Well, first of all, this handkerchief is actually a wedding gift from Othello. Okay. And so that's very important to Othello. It actually was a gift from Othello's mother that was blessed by an Egyptian sorceress. And this particular handkerchief, his mother used in a sense to capture his father's affection. For instance, the sorcerer um, told his mother that as long as she has this handkerchief, that his father would be that she would be, excuse me, desirable to his father, and that he would not leave her. But if by chance she lost that handkerchief, that he would leave her. And so when this handkerchief was given to Othello by his mother, and he excitedly gave this to Desdemona, all of those premonitions came with having that handkerchief. Yeah. And so when she lost it, he became infuriated. And so, like I said, not only did Desdemona just say, "Well, I don't know where the handkerchief is," instead she lies when Othello confronts her. And she says, "It's somewhere in the house." As a result, he becomes even more infuriated. And that is when the turn of events happen. And he actually believes that what Iago is saying is true, and he has all these, of course, negative images in his mind, and he ends up strangling Desdemona in her bed. Okay. Um, Iago, of course, the villain in the story, the antagonist in the story. There are some other victims that are in the story as well. He kills Roderigo, and he also kills Emilia, his wife. But before he kills Emilia, Emilia reveals to Othello um, the deception of Iago. Okay. The reason why he kills Roderigo is because he doesn't want to be tied to all of the evil, that he has done. He don't need um, anyone, being left in the sense to be able to tell about the events that he actually inspired. Okay. But like I said, he kills Roderigo and he also kills Emilia, which is his wife. But before Emilia dies, she tells Othello exactly the plans and plots of Iago, that things that Iago had conspired to do. And so that means at the end of the story, after Othello has killed Desdemona, he realizes that he has been tricked. He realizes that Desdemona, really did love him and that he should have listened to his wife all along. But of course, now it's too late. What ends up happening at the end of the story? What ends up happening at the end of the story is, of course, Iago and Othello are apprehended. Othello, realizing what he has done, he ends up killing himself. He tries to kill Iago, but that doesn't. Iago survives, and Iago is apprehended. Okay, so that is basically what happens at the end of this story, or excuse me, this play.